And I realized, wow, what he's doing is he's surrounding himself with people that have this incredible gift. It's not at all what I thought. And they're all here learning and teaching each other. It's such a beautiful and wonderful thing that you guys do. And it's like you're trying to do better for your families. I never understood how energized it makes you. I think it just re-energizes you, gives you a new life to be around like-minded people. And I just didn't understand that. It's work. It's a hard day. It's going in there and spending hours listening to these presentations. It's not easy and it's not fun. I started to realize that, man, these guys, this is grueling. Like, I want to be at the pool. This isn't golf and this isn't the pool. This is a 12-hour day learning. We don't know that you're prepared for the future. We don't know. It's simple. It's in your head. You know it. Yeah. It's miscommunication, a lack of putting out there what's in your head already, because it gives us so much security knowing that.
Good day, everyone. This is Dr. David Phelps of the Freedom Founders Mastermind community and the Dentist Freedom Blueprint podcast. Today, I'm really excited to have somebody who I've been wanting to have on our podcast for some time. And she is actually the spouse, the CFO, the person who keeps everything lit up at home and in place, but also intervenes in the business, or interacts in the business, I should say, with her husband, Caleb. So I have today with us Ashley Pearson. Ashley, great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'll give you a little bit of background on Ashley, and then I'll tell you why she's here. And I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation we're going to have. In fact, I'm going to have to be a little more open and vulnerable than maybe I usually am here, but I promise to do that. So Ashley, she's the 40-year-old mama of two. She's married to an amazing entrepreneur, and I know her husband well, Caleb Pearson. And we'll share a little bit where our mutual interests are there. Ashley works as the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, for their companies. They have a real estate retail team, a fix and flip wholesale company, and a multifamily rental team. Ashley's an accountant by trade, and she is enjoying all the benefits of no longer being in corporate America, but learning to balance being the better half to this amazing entrepreneur, her husband, Caleb. So we met through our mutual mastermind group, the community, The Collective Genius, which is high caliber real estate entrepreneurs, business owners from all over the country, different asset classes and different types of styles of companies, just as we mentioned here. And your husband, Caleb, the typical entrepreneur and visionary, that's who he is, always been. You're right there, been with him, and your background, you are no wallflower. You've got significant degrees, corporate America, CFO, accounting. You bring that side. That's such an important side to any business, and you just happen to be married to this great entrepreneur. So you started working more in the business, and then Caleb found this Collective Genius thing about 5 or 6 years ago, which we've been a part of, and off he goes 4 times a year to this mastermind, which you had not seen yet. You had not seen the inside of it. You had no idea what it was, and just let's take it from there. I mean, what as the spouse who loves her husband and loves all the characteristics that he brings that actually was attractive to you, which we could name all those off, right? No problem naming those off. But what about this entrepreneur husband going off to these meetings and doing what the heck? You have no idea why this is so important.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when he would take off it was 4 times a year, even 1 time a year, I just remember leading up to it, I would be super anxious and I would worry because I just didn't know what he was doing. I was at home holding down the fort, like you said, and also a part of the business, which is not normally, a normal thing for the wife. But so even, I guess, to say that I was part of the business and should have more of an appreciation, I still didn't have a proper appreciation for what he was going away to do at these meetings until I went to my very first one. And it changed our relationship for sure.
So what did you see? I mean, you expected to see one thing. I'm assuming you had some preconception of what you're going to go, and you weren't probably looking forward to it. But okay, being supportive of Caleb, and he's wanted you to come, and so okay, I'll go. Kind of maybe not exactly dragging your feet, but okay, I'm gonna go one time just so you don't keep asking me, right? That's kind of how you felt.
Yes, exactly.
So you get there, and so what was the first thing that changed your your feeling, your perception of what this is all about?
So honestly, one of the very first things is I was able to put names with faces, which was incredible, because I've heard my husband talk to all these people. And I've said before, it changes everything. Once you've met a person and you know who your husband's on the phone with, you're a lot less upset when the phone rings and it's a good buddy that you got to meet face to face, and you know that it's a business call and they're there to help each other. And anyway, so first thing I did is I got to put names with faces. Second thing I saw was just a group of like-minded people to my husband. I had never met someone like my husband until I met my husband. And I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone in this room is so similar. All entrepreneurs, all just, in my opinion, like I've said before, a gift from God, like just have this incredible gift that I've just always looked at and valued. And I realized, wow, what he's doing is he's surrounding himself with people that have this incredible gift. It's not at all what I thought. And they're all here learning and teaching each other. It's such a beautiful and wonderful thing that you guys do. And it's like you're trying to do better for your families. But I felt an immediate sense of guilt, because I would get so angry the week up before. I would be stressed out and dreading him going, and now I'm like, go have a great time. I appreciate it. I have an insane appreciation for it. So, I mean,
when was so how long had obviously you and Caleb members of CG, but when was the first time that you came?
I think probably 5 years ago.
And then how long had you been members? I mean, did you come to the first meeting, or
no? I think he had been a member for about a year or a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I just would, I mean, literally, I was like, it's 4 times a year. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, come on, and I was just, gosh, I gave him a hard time. And
yeah.
And then I started working with him, and I gained more knowledge in that first CG. It was like drinking from a fire hose. I was like, wait. And I remember just being so overwhelmed. And so it was just a life-changing moment, I think, for us and for our relationship, just to get to be there, see it, and realize, wow, this is actually a beautiful thing. And these guys are really and truly trying to, there's no bad intention in this room. Right. And it's such a misconception, because I truly thought he was going away just to go play and stay out drinking and, to
get away from the family.
Yeah. I'm like, right? Oh, I wish I could go do that. Like, sounds great to me too, No, now I'm like, no, you go, I got it. I'll hold down the fort happily.
So when you first came a year or a year and a half into the membership, after Caleb had been going for several meetings, well, I mean, who initiated that? I'm just curious. I mean, how did that come about?
I think it was him. I feel like he was like, Ash, come on, come with me. Let's, I want you to go see what it is. And I think you'll learn a lot, because I think we were just starting to buy our first rentals. And so I was transitioning over to his company, and he was like, I know you appreciate like self-development and growth. And I have a true appreciation for that from my past career. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to give anything a shot one time. And buddy, it was the best. I mean, and I'll be honest, for when we were building our business, it was a gift, because I did learn. I mean, I learned so much. I never understood how energized it makes you and how excited it makes you to come home. It's like you do start to get in a rut with what you guys do. It's so overwhelming. It's so much. And I think it just re-energizes you, gives you a new life to be around like-minded people. And I just didn't understand that. The hardest part, or the most mind-boggling, was the tenacity, everything that. So the room, it's work. It's a hard day. It's going in there and spending hours listening to these presentations, learning from people, talking to these people. It's not easy, and it's not fun. If I'm being completely honest, it might be fun for you guys, but for me, it was just not fun. Do I love the people? Yes. But, and did I learn? Absolutely. But I started to realize that, man, these guys, this is grueling. Like, I want to be at the pool. I always thought he was in Florida and he was at the pool, or he was playing basketball, or he was playing golf. Like, this isn't golf, and this isn't the pool. This is a 12-hour day learning. So I guess I answered several ways there, but.
No, that's really good. Ashley, I'm definitely going to get to more of the woman's perspective. But before I jump there, I do want to gain your how you see, again, your husband, Caleb, the entrepreneur, and then knowing that, you know, he's kind of a rare bird. I mean, these entrepreneurs at CG, your husband, Caleb, rare birds. And is it fair for me to say that it's hard for people like us that are very visionary and just kind of out there in the way we think and communicate? You talked about like-minded kindred spirits at CG. How important is that from your standpoint for your husband to have that kind of community where he can go and be around people that really get him? Because let's face it, I mean, other than, you know, you and my wife trying to get us, which is hard enough, right? The rest of the world doesn't really get us too well. And so
Right.
Is it fair for me to say that it's a little bit lonely out there?
Oh, I think it is. I think that's an understatement. I think you guys are such a rare breed. It's such a neat, amazing quality. And I don't know. I have such a mad appreciation for it just from never seeing it until I was a little bit older and recognizing it. And I think when you guys get together, it is so awesome to watch my husband be able to relate to people that he can't relate to on a daily basis. Luckily, one of the guys from CG lives in our hometown. And so even happy hour or seeing him and his wife, just that conversation, that one-on-one is so incredible to watch, because you guys need it. You need it for energy. You need it for, so you don't feel alone out there. Like I love him, watching him say, you know, we've got this problem and we had this personnel problem, and what would you do? And one of the 10 men going, oh man, I went through the same thing. Let's talk about it. And just watching the way you guys minds work versus the way my mind would have worked as an HR administrative person. Y'all are on such a different level than that. And I don't mean that no offense to anyone in the lower level, but where you're at, it's such a lonely position. And to be able, to have people to relate to and talk to that understand you, I think it's invaluable.
So now that you've been to not just one, but, you know, a number of CG meetings, you don't feel compelled to need to come to every one. In fact, it's probably not even practical because of your businesses, your family. But now that you've been to several, you know what goes on there. Now when Caleb goes, even though you miss him and your family misses him, but you know, in the bigger picture, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. So I think if I didn't have any part of the business, I would really never go. No offense to CG, but I think that it is, I will say that I don't feel at place in the room in the sense that I'm not like-minded. I am very different minded. And so I have an appreciation, gratitude for it. Absolutely. But I would probably not ever go again if I wasn't in the business. Do I go? Yes. When I'm going through a challenge or we're facing something in the business or some kind of, you know, change, I'm like, absolutely, I need to go. I need to be re-energized, because it does re-energize even me as not an entrepreneur, but as a part of the business. But yeah.
Well, I didn't say this, but I want to give you accolades. As you mentioned, at every Collective Genius meeting, there are short presentations that are given. We are asked as members to not show up and just take from the room. There's a lot of ability to get wisdom and from the room and perspective on challenges and opportunities. But we're also supposed to bring something that we've learned, right? Something that's worked in our business or our mindset, or it could be personal life. But that sharing is a big part of what we do. So we give talks. They're short. They're kept to about 20, 25 minutes. So they have to be very pointed and very focused. And at the last meeting, you gave the talk on behalf of, you know, you and Caleb. You stood up there and gave the talk, and you spoke about being married to an entrepreneur. Why we're having this discussion today is because it is so familiar to me. It's the same situation that we deal with in our Freedom Founders community. Is we typically have, not always, but the majority of the members, the man is the business owner. We have some awesome female business owners, so not taken away at all. Right. But quite often it's the male who says to his wife, hey, I've heard about this group and there's something there. I just think we ought to go check it out. That's all. No, and again, with reticence, many times it's like, okay, but we are not going to sign up or do anything here because I'm just going to support you and I'll go one time and that's it. And then it's like, okay, just like you said, now I'm here, I'm seeing who these people are, which is really a woman's intuition. I mean, I rely on my wife, Candace, so many times. I need the radar. I need the radar. We, as a man, we'll walk in the room and we're looking just for all the positive things, and we'll bypass all the things that your eyes are reading verbal, nonverbal messages, and we just are blind to that stuff. And so that's why I tell our prospective guests or members who come to Freedom Founders, I say, you really owe it to your marriage partnership, even if your wife doesn't care a thing. She trusts you, but she doesn't care a thing about, what you want to invest in, as long as you're good for the family. But I said, you know what? She's never going to know what you're doing and where you're going unless she comes one time to see with her own eyes, ears, and intuition what's here. I said, then I said, if she didn't ever want to come back again, that's cool.
She won't.
And she probably won't.
No offense to you, David. She won't want to come back, but she will sure be happy to send you off on your way, be appreciative of what you're doing there, and have a totally different perspective on everything. Yeah.
So I want to reflect back on some things that you said that really hit home with me, and this is where I'm going to be vulnerable because, boy, I'm just like all of us. I'm learning and trying to get better and understanding the real God-given differences between men and women, yes. Right? And we've spoken a little bit about those, at a high level. But one of the things that you spoke so well about that I've heard, I've read, it's still hard for a man to grasp this, but I'm really working on it, and I appreciate so much how you said it. But you talked about the insecurities that a woman can often feel, and as men, and particularly like Caleb and others that we know, we're out there just slaying dragons every day. And that's just what we do. And right. When we face a challenge or something's not going right during the day at the business or some deal, or, there's always things falling off, always. I mean, that's just the life of an entrepreneur. We'll talk, I'll bring that home to Candace, right? And I'll come in and I'll say, oh, such and so did this today, or this didn't happen. And, I'm a little miffed, but for me, it's just like another day, and then I'm on to the next. It's like, but as soon as I come home and lay that on, and she's like, oh, this, what do you mean? I mean, she's thinking like the sky is falling, and that's, it's like, I'm thinking, no, not at all. And I have to go back to her later, and she's like, well, why do you tell me that stuff? Right. So it's
a catch-22.
Yeah. So I want, it's like, honey, how was your day? Well, instead of talking about the wins, I go, because, the wins to me are just like, well, it's like the wins for us are like, we've already been thinking about the wins, the things that work out well. We've been thinking and dreaming about that and pushing for that for a long time. So when we hit them, it's like, no big deal. We've been planning for that. Right. So we don't talk about that.
It's you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we knew that. Oh, come on. We knew that we were going to get that. It's like with the stuff that doesn't happen is what we bring home. And she's like going, and I'll come back later and go, well, what's wrong? What did I say something wrong? It's like, I said, I wasn't mad at you. It's like, I need something to talk to. You were there. So, am I describing your life a little bit?
Yeah, no, I think that I think that's completely common. And I think that what we don't, as the wife, we don't understand what you guys are going through every day. I think this being a part of this mastermind and getting to meet some of the similar people, it made me have more of an understanding that, oh my gosh, it's not just my husband that functions exactly the way you just spoke of functioning, slaying dragons every day, always expecting the best. Gosh knows, I feel like I'm an optimist, but God, you guys are crazy. It's incredible. And I think that when we're sitting, like I use the example of, the market crashing, like we're sitting at home and we have no idea what's right. happening in your business other than honestly what you just said. The only things I ever hear about are the negatives. Like I hate that. And I hate that that's a thing, but I think it's because, like you said, you guys are always you're always looking in a positive direction. And when something negative happens, you want us to be there as a shoulder to lean on. And that's where I would push you and challenge you and Caleb to share the positives with us as well, because we don't know that you're prepared for the future. We don't know. It's simple. It's in your head. You know it. Yeah. It's miscommunication. And I don't want to say miscommunication. Maybe that's not the word. It's just a lack of, putting out there what's in your head already, because it gives us so much security knowing that. Just knowing that, I also use the example like Caleb, when we started early on in our marriage, I really had a hard time because going through like him coming home and just telling me the bad things about his day. Any deal that he took under his belt, I would stress out about, like stressed to a whole nother level. And he's like, what is your problem? And I'm like, well, because I didn't have the understanding. I didn't know in my head it was going to be okay. I didn't have this magic that you guys have, this potion.
Your mind doesn't work the same as ours, and thank goodness. That's why God made us differently.
Yes.
But we feel strong, and we're not taken down by the things that don't work out. It's just, we just have to express them and get them off our chest. That's all we want to do, because we're already figuring out how to solve, right? And what we do is we come in and we just dump our stuff right there, knowing we're very, very capable of coming back and picking it back up and going with. We just dump it, and then we walk off, because our little mind just goes from this to this to this to this. Yep. And women tend to, just everything's blended together, and it's like, we compartmentalize, and you all typically don't, right? That's what, yes. I'm speaking like I know something here, but it's just.
No, you do. You've got it nailed. It's just a matter of doing it. But no, I think that, so I think I realized where I was going with it is, yeah. So I think that having that security in the conversations, just a little more communication on the positives, and also just stability in the, like Caleb and I, we went and saw a financial advisor, and this person was so much more, they were much more like me, not an entrepreneur. Like this guy, like, I was like, yes, cut him in his knees, like tell him, like, because I was like, tell him that he's being crazy. And then the guy was like, no, what you need, but he said, he's not crazy. He's clearly got a gift here. Like, come on. He's like, but I think what your wife is looking for is she's looking for to know that there's this certain amount of security in her life, whether that be kids' college funds, whether that be if the market does crash, where is that going to take us tomorrow? What does that mean for our future? Because it's as a mother, and it's in our nature to want to make sure and be secure for the future. And we depend solely on you guys for that, which is a terrible thing, but it's the truth. If I'm being honest, we look to you ultimately. Like if I was still in corporate America and I lost my job, I'd turn my head and look to Caleb. Like we just expect you guys. I hate to say that because it doesn't sound right, but it's just true. It's an expectation. We want y'all to take care of us, and we need to know that we're taken care of. So I think putting things in place like that, where I see a monthly statement, it comes to my email. I know what money's being put away. I also am the CFO, so I literally know what's in every account. So I shouldn't worry, but it's just in my nature. And I think it offers some security that it's just incredible.
Well, I think there's so much truth that the visionary, the entrepreneur can, because I'm not going to say that I don't feel like we're cavalier about our abilities. We've all had setbacks. We will continue to have setbacks. I think it's just like, if you're a wrestler, and you get taken down on the mat and you're pinned one day, okay, didn't feel good, but we know we're getting back up. I think as long as God allows, we're going to get back up to fight another day. That's just in our nature. What you as a female would like to know is there a moat, a protection around some aspect of our life, and that can be through, as you said, college funds, certain assets, certain accounts that are just segregated off. And then, then we have an estate plan. So if something did happen, where's the insurance and what's the plan there? As entrepreneurs, again, this is not good. We tend to think that we'll always get up and fight another day. And unfortunately, we know plenty of situations where that wasn't in the plan. Nothing that we did wrong. It was just that the day came, and we know plenty of stories. We think it's never going to be us, but
absolutely.
But we tend to procrastinate that, because why? We always want to be on the forefront of building the business, creating the next deal, and we'll get to that later. what you're saying to us very, very well, and I'm really taking this in. I took it in when you spoke about it a month or so ago when I heard you, when you did your talk, is that it's really on us. If we want to do our job as the head of household and do it well, then we need to get in your corner and say, okay, you're right. Let's build together, whether we do that with some financial help, someone else, which I think is always good, help us, because that maybe is not my forte, but help us build, start building something that provides that security for you. Then you can say, okay, I'm okay. And now go, Caleb, go do your thing. But this is always the safe zone. We've got these things built, these constructs, these wills, these trusts, these, all these plans are in place. So that it's a contingency plan so that there's always this safety net that will never bounce below.
I mean, that is honestly, and like you mentioned the estate attorney, that's another thing, like getting those, just buckling those two things down. Honestly, it changed. It really, it gave me a security that, and it allowed me to be able to encourage him more in what he did with his next entrepreneurial feat, his next big challenge. But I also was terrified, and I still am every day. I mean, my biggest, and I don't know, I pray how this will come across, but one of my biggest fears in life is losing him, and not for financial reasons, because he's my very best friend, but I'm also like, what would I do? All these people and all these businesses are dependent on us for an income. I don't even know where I would begin. And I think just setting things in place that there's just a plan so that your wife has some kind of security in that, because honestly, I'm a lot more likely to let Caleb go down a double black diamond because I'm like, not because I don't want to lose my best friend, and I know it's up to God, but I also am so worried about how I would carry on what he's built and what you guys do and what that would mean for our children, So I think just we just need some security and understanding. And I know that it seems like we don't want to hear about your bad days or your bad things, but we want to hear a little bit about a lot, and we want to know that we're secure. It's a need.
All right. Last thing I want to hit on today. And again, this is an area that I am often negligent, and I'm trying to work on it. But again, it goes against our nature. We feel like, again, as long as we are good men, ethical men, working hard, the good characteristics, but we feel like if we've exhibited our good qualities and we've said at least one time somewhere, honey, I love you, that should stick. And what I am learning is that that's not the case, that we need to state over and over again certain aspects of what we find that we love about our spouses, our wives. We can't say those things enough. And I don't mean just spitting them off like you just memorized it. I mean, being intentional about doing it, even to the point where we're thinking, God, I just said that yesterday, but
yes, it's not natural.
It's not. So just confirm what I'm saying but put it in your words. How can we as men do that in an authentic way? So we're not, that we know we're sowing into you.
Just know. So like you said, I think it's natural for us as mothers, as women to tell you that, to say that, to express that. For you guys, it's not natural. You can tell us you love us one day, and the next day, if you don't say it again, we're going to question everything on the planet, and we're going to think you don't love us anymore. And I might be, I'm not speaking for all women, but I know I've had this conversation with so many women, and I know it's such a commonality between women in general, but specifically women that are with men that are entrepreneurs, that are in these industries that are, where they're dominant, and we're just super insecure. And we need to hear every day that you care for us. And when you're at these events and you're doing these things and you're gone 12 hours or you're gone 14 hours and we haven't heard from you, and you've ignored our texts and our phone calls, is what we think. We had no idea what you've really been doing. Right. We just need some reassurance. And I guess my advice to that would just be, make intentional time. I know. So Caleb, this is going to sound so sad, but this is, and he will make comments to me like, your life is so terrible. And I'm like, I'm not saying my life is terrible, but I am married to a squirrel. Like, I cannot nail you down to save my life. And he looks at it as he's sitting on the couch while I'm sitting on the couch, and he's on his phone working, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, or he looks at that as, we just spent so much time together. And I'm sitting there like, I had no one-on-one conversation with him. I had no like intimacy with him. So we do a specific, and we've actually, I am planning it for tomorrow because we have not done it in the last couple of weeks and I can feel it, but I know 45 minutes is such a silly amount of time, but I take his phone, his computer, he takes my phone, my computer, and we literally sit down to dinner and we just have a awesome conversation. And what I think is such a misconception with you guys, and what you don't realize is, when you're looking at your phone, when you're working 24/7, when you're doing these things, we are honestly sitting here and we're questioning everything, when all you're doing is to provide for us what you think is showing us your love. But honestly, we need that one-on-one, whether it's that 45 minutes of just reassurance, or there's just that you love us, touch base on where you are in life. Like, we just need that connection with you guys so desperately. And I mean, I will say I've been married before, and I wasn't married to an entrepreneur before, and it was a lot. This wasn't a challenge like it is. This was new territory for me. And I had to like sit Caleb down and have a serious talk, and he was mind blown. Like, what do you mean? I give us all this free time. I provide for our family so well. And I'm like, absolutely. But all I want is you. Yes. All I really want is you. And just to have you guys, your presence, to know that we're still your one and only, and we're in this together. It's just something we need.
I oftentimes we tend to want to not withdraw from you. But I know, if I've had a busy day, or I've been gone somewhere, or just a lot going on, we talk about the man's cave, wherever that might be. So we like to go to our cave, that could be a special room or just whatever, right? Because we want our downtime, right? Yeah. And I think that is a form of, we're not constantly trying to withdraw typically from our wife or our family. We just need some downtime. Everybody does. Everybody needs it. You need it, as much as anybody. But I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that when we are doing that, even though we're not consciously trying to withdraw, we're not mad. It's just, I may just come in and not say a lot. I may just go to my office or something to take care of something. And then, my wife Candace will later say, are we good? And it's like, and I'm thinking,
I know that feeling.
And I'm thinking, what? Like, what are you talking? I mean, of course we're, my initial reaction is, of course we're good. What are you talking about?
What are you even talking about?
Yeah. And so, see, here I am. I won't even tell you how old I am, but I'm still figuring this stuff out. Oh my gosh.
I don't doubt that. And I love and appreciate that you're honest about that. Like, I spoke to a room of older men, and I was afraid that this wasn't going to resonate, but clearly it did. And I just think, yeah, I am telling you, and Caleb can be working so hard and be so excited about something. And if he doesn't give me that little bit of acknowledgement, I'm asking that. And I remember, it's been a few years, but I used to ask, do you still love me? And he was like, that question, like, where does that even come from? Like, it infuriates me. And I'm like, I'm just checking. Like, so maybe, I don't know. And I know there's like the love languages books. There's all these books. I've read them all, but I know the one, he says I'm all 5 love languages. So that's a little hard. I think finding out how your wife feels loved is really important too, because I think just giving her, those doing whatever, however she receives love, showing that to her, it really makes a difference, because you guys you're truly, we are so, so, so fortunate to have you. And the saddest thing for me is watching couples that Caleb and I have been friends with through this group, and watching them divorce or split up because of a misunderstanding, when I know these two people love each other, but it's simply just, you guys are a different bird. And as somebody that's been married twice, wow, what a gift you are, and what a beautiful thing it is. And God has truly, truly blessed y'all and us. But to understand that and really, like, just to know that we appreciate that. And we do love you, but I think we'd appreciate it more if we get to sit in on the rooms and do the things that y'all do, because I think we forget. It's easy for us to forget. And, but you guys are awesome and we do appreciate you, but we just need y'all to show us a little love.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's why I want to have this conversation. All right, last thing. You did mention a book, which I have picked up, and I think it's good for the resource. It's the book. There's one for men and one for women. It's actually for men only, and there's a book for women only. And I think you've found that probably reading both of those books for each of us is probably a smart thing, which opens the door for some of these conversations that we don't even know that we're not having.
Yes, we actually, Caleb, it's so funny. I actually, in the book, I think it suggests, and like the forward, it suggests that you read each other's book as well. And so I would pick the book up that he would read and I would look through it and I would see, he would literally circle and star and be like, oh my gosh. Like,
there you go.
There's the commonalities between women in general, the way God created us, we are very different. And I think that book is a tremendous, it helps you understand each other a little more. And it's very simple, very easy read, and just get in our little brains a little bit because we're crazy.
Well, you're all crazy. That's why we love you. I mean,
my dad says all women are crazy. It's just about finding the one that you can deal with the best.
There you go. Well said. Well said. Well, Ashley Pearson, such a pleasure. Thank you for providing your insights. You are a gift, and I appreciate what you did at Collective Genius. And thank you for doing this so my listeners can also have the potential benefit and maybe listen to this with their spouse, because I think, again, we all want to learn. We all care. And we're just trying to do it better. And there's no reason why we can't continue to grow in our marriages, just like we want to grow our businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah. Put a little bit of what y'all put into your businesses into us, and we'll appreciate the heck out of it. It'll go a mile.
Perfect. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you, David.
If you enjoyed watching or learning from this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. If you have a question about any of my content or this specific video, just please leave a comment down below. And as always, stay focused on your freedom. I'll see you next time.